Hello, everyone. Going to try something a little different. I think it's going to be kind of fun and pretty cool. Um, the first part of the message is going to be me um, just recording me talking about a new lesson, or well, not a new lesson, but a lesson from the website. And then the second part is going to be Bob reading out his answer that he provided me. So this particular lesson goes back quite a long time ago, probably going to say sometime in 2016, when I was just first introduced to Bob and the Great White Brotherhood. Actually, late 2015, I think, is when I found Bob and his warning about astral projection. So, and then of course the rest is history. But um, back then, when Bob and I were working together and creating the books and the website, and he was making videos, I was asking him some questions, and he was kind enough to answer them, of course. So this was one of those email discussions that Bob and I had, and it was related to trying to figure out how this reality works. This what I now, while the Great White Brotherhood always called it an illusion, sometimes called it a simulation, and a couple times called it a hologram. So I was trying to figure out that back then, and I think at that time they really only called it an illusion, and I just couldn't quite figure it out what the heck they were talking about. So this was an email that was going back and forth between Bob and I, and so the title of this message or lesson is template realities. And it's a discussion between Bob and myself, as I said, many years ago when I was new to all this and trying to understand the concept of our realities. What the Great White Brotherhood had told us to this point was that we create our reality and that the past, the present, and the future all exist now, and that everything already exists now, and that all humans that existed exist now and would exist in the future already all exist. So this was very puzzling for me at the time. So I was trying to understand how creation can already exist in the future and thought of the idea that what exists are templates of reality for any possible existence and experience. And all that we needed to do is to draw to us through the law of mutual attraction those templates as we make our thoughts and choices moment by moment. And that could explain why everything already exists for us to experience. This message is being shared as a possible way to help people visualize reality or timelines in their minds to understand how it might be possible for everything in creation to already exist. I know that I know I'm not the only one that can't quite wrap their head around that. I can now much better than I could then, but still it's not perfect. So, how is it possible for everything in creation to exist, for the past, the present, and the future to all exist now? Well, I certainly have a better understanding of now, and that's why I can understand that everything exists now. And it is only as we evolve that we can access those templates that have most of life already in them. And we just need to be present in those templates to experience them. This lesson was not a download or a message from the Great White Brotherhood and was just Bob and I puzzling things out. But, it wouldn't surprise me if Bob was certainly getting nudged and influenced by the Great White Brotherhood when he answered, as you'll soon hear. So me personally, I don't work with this concept anymore. Not in its uh, true, not in its meaning of just there are just templates of reality. Um, I think that there's still something to that in that there is kind of think of it more like a video game, like the program of the video game already exists, right? Like a sim game or anything where you're a character in a field of a simulation of a game. The game that the the background of the game, the environment of the game already exists, but you as a character also exist in the game. You can either create your character or your avatar, or it can be a character that you take on in the game that was already programmed. But the moves you make in the game, you're creating it, but the background of the game already exists, right? So that's how I'm saying that there's still something to this template reality. Back then, I had a different vision in my mind of literally just like frames of templates that we see flash before our eyes like a sign film, like a film, right? And it probably does sort of work that way in some regard, but I've kind of got a different view on that now. But I don't want to dwell on that. I want to just stick to this because this is kind of like a stepping stone. It was a stepping stone for me to understand more. So I want to keep it clean so that when you read this, hopefully, if you're struggling to understand that, this can help you as a stepping stone. But I think that it still has some importance and has some information that people can take away to help with further understanding, as I just mentioned. It was a concept that helped me progress my learning and understanding. Absolutely, it did. So, both Bob and I in the Great White Brotherhood, we would hope that it helps some people also trying to puzzle out the nature of our reality and creation. So, I'm going to end here, and after this will be Bob providing his answer to you as only he could. And I hope you enjoy this message, and I'll make another video soon. Thank you.
The directors of life do not create anything that we do not need for our immediate use, meaning the law of conservation of energy. Let us imagine that everything, past, present, and future, plus all the parallel universes, were in fact already created, complete, waiting for us in case we need one. In that case, complete worlds would have been created for every person that has lived, is living, or will live. Their lives, from birth to death, would be laid out, frame after frame, like looking at a picture book. Then add to that the countless alternative realities that apparently exist for us to jump to if we want. So, for every single person, not only would our present reality exist, but all the possible alternative realities would also exist for every single person. This would be an incredible amount of work to create, and the energy expended would be colossal. I can't imagine the directors of life wasting all that energy, creating zillions of possible universes for zillions of people just in case they use one of these universes. I think that the template concept is probably close to the answer, or maybe the answer. If, for one person, blank templates, still frames of time and space, are available, and as we progress through this life, or an alternative life, we fill the frame with little cutouts of people, animals, buildings, cars, and all the rest that goes to make a picture of life, that would certainly be a good way to create things without wasting energy. We would have, stored in our mind, images of everything that we know about, and we fill each blank frame with these cutout images. A bit like a child taking cutouts and placing them on a blank page of a colouring book. This would also relate to the idea that if we do not have an idea of something already created in our mind, the pigeonhole idea, we have to reject that concept. In other words, these pigeonholes would already contain the cutouts of cats, dogs, people, houses, cars, and all the rest that goes up to make a world, plus all the various mental, philosophical, religious, political concepts that people talk about, all stored as little cutouts that we pull out to fill the frame of reality as we need it. This would also imply that it is not really the directors of life who create reality, it is us. If I were able to jump to a new future that I wanted to experience, it would, in fact, be me that fills the frames with images that correspond to the new reality that I have jumped to.
Thank you for watching this video. Please visit our website at thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org for free books and lessons to help you on your spiritual journey.